Hi guys. First I want to say welcome. Um, I decided to create this page, One Mom, Two Worlds, for many different reasons, but I think the main reason for me creating an escape place for families and friends of family members, etc., with special needs children was for me personally. I love to write, but I've noticed lately that it's just too much time. Like I rather just talk to y'all because writing is just a passion, but I just don't have the time. So I wanted to give you guys a feel of my life and um, my background. First, I am a resident of Union, have been my whole life pretty much. I have a 16-year-old daughter. Well, she'll be 16 in exactly 2 months. And I have a 6-year-old, Aiden, which I'm sure everyone who's friends with me on Facebook has seen either something, because I'm always posting about my kids, but roughly, Aiden was born with brain damage. And I didn't really notice until maybe 6 months. He just was kind of like ragdollish. He wasn't moving as I thought he should. I had a baby before, so I kind of knew, that something wasn't right. So, I'm a very proactive mother, by the way. I like to get things done. I like to know stuff. If there's something that we can fix, let's fix it. So, yes, I was that mother. So, I went to the pediatrician and she did all these tests, normal stuff. And she gave me this questionnaire. And on the questionnaire it was like, oh, is he doing this? Is he doing that? Is he trying to grab for stuff? Is he trying to move, crawl? Nothing. No, 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 no. Everything. No, no, no. So she told me to give it 2 months. Babies take their time sometimes. Sometimes, boys tend to be, a little bit more lazy than girls, whatever. So I trusted her and I took it as that. And so we left. I felt good, like, okay, it's not happening today, but he's going to get better, and that's that. So I went on about my day and I grocery shopped. I went grocery shopping and she called me that same day, same evening, and said, I'm just not comfortable with what I saw today with Aiden. So we're going to create a plan and things, take some action early so that, we can get the ball rolling and, which I was totally happy with. I wasn't really concerned at that point, but I was glad that she, thought about him all day and she called me back and said, no, I don't want to wait 2 months. I'd rather just see what's going on now. So, first order of business was she ordered him an MRI of his brain. I'm sorry. She ordered an MRI of his brain, and it came back. I'm sorry. Let me rewind. She ordered an MRI of his brain to us to see a neurologist to get an MRI of his brain. Needless to say, the neurologist was not the most friendly person. Even my daughter, she was young. She was 10, 11. She was like, Mommy, I don't like him. He's not nice to Aiden. I don't really. So we took the order from him, got the MRI. 3 days later, he calls us and says, hey, your son's got brain damage. It either happened, at the later stage of your pregnancy, like when you were almost ready to give birth, or it happened during birth. I would suggest some physical therapy, and yeah, follow up with me in 6 months. What? What? That's it? That's how I took it. And he said, well, yeah, there's nothing we can do, and that's just what it is. that things like this happen. So me having a typical child who, never had any problems, maybe a little bit of asthma and bronchitis, as she was growing up, but never this. So it was like a total crushing feeling, and then on top of it, it was more of like, you don't even give a damn. How are you going to give me this bad news and you just hang up and say, figure it out? So I was confused. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. Luckily, I had a really good relationship with his pediatrician. So the mother and me said, okay, well, I'm going to go back to square one. We're going to go back to the pediatrician. So went back to her. She had already had his MRI results already. So she knew before we got there what, she was ready, what her plan of action was from there. So Aiden's dad and I, sat down with her, and she pretty much said, look, I know, and just by his physical, that he has cerebral palsy, which in turn, there's damage that's done to the brain, which in turn affects muscle movement, speech, the whole thing. Some kids, it's more of mild. Other kids like Aiden, we're still in the baby stages with him. He's 6, but he's kind of like 9 months, So she said, we're not going to let this get to us. This is what we're going to do. We're going to start him with early intervention, which I will say to all of you out there who, if you haven't, had your child through early intervention and you're thinking about it, or it's been mentioned to you, it's the best program ever that I could have imagined to jumpstart Aiden, and get him ready for preschool and, things like that. It literally fell in my lap, but because of the pediatrician, she had a lot to do with it, but it literally, everything just started coming together. All these people started calling us, setting up times and dates, and therapists coming to my house, speech, occupational, educational therapy, everything you can name, I got for Aiden through early intervention. So during the, after she explained to us, what we were going to have to do as far as early intervention and where that would take us, she did explain the personal feeling and the personal aspect of how it was going to make us feel. And, for Aiden's dad and I, look, this is going to make or break you. Either you're going to pull together, and if you weren't really one before, you got to be one now. You're going to have to be a unit. You're going to have to be a team. You're going to have to be there for each other. And then came the tears. She's crying. He's crying. I'm crying. But, my tears are always brief. I'm not a real big crier. But, I said, okay, well, let's do it. Early intervention, that's the first stop. I'm down. I'm willing. Let's get it. So, with that being said, we spent a lot of time. Well, I did. I can't really speak for Aiden's dad. And, I'm not going to throw him under the bus or anything like that, However, I do feel like I was more proactive in wanting to know what therapies were being done, wanting to be present, researching. I've got tons of binders right here full of Aiden's medical records and the doctors that we've seen and stuff like that. So I really had a mindset that I was going to embrace it as opposed to just, being totally against it and it'll happen. Aiden's father, on the other hand, really had trouble, I think, accepting that Aiden was going to be different, that, of course comes guilt and blame and, all that other stuff. But I felt that very briefly. I didn't really have time. I didn't feel that I had time to sulk and be, oh, why, when I needed to be like, let's do. What's your name? What's your title? What are you going to do with him today? What therapies can I do at home? When you leave, is there things that I can do for him, when you guys aren't around? I was that person. I still am to this day. I'm emailing teachers and therapists all the time. So, it's been a long road. It's been a long 6 years, because Aiden got diagnosed when he was really young, 9 months, I would say. And I will say that over the years, it's gotten not easier, because it's not easy. Trust me. Y'all should know it is not easy, no matter what diagnosis. If you have a special needs child, it's just not easy. No one ever said it was, and whoever said it's easy is lying. They lying to you. Don't be their friend no more, because they're lying. But it has definitely given me a thicker skin. I think I've always had a thick skin, but it has definitely given me a huge perspective on everything. Not just like I have a child that's different. I mean, even animals. I look at animals different. You know, I had to put my dog to sleep a couple months ago, and it was like I never ever cared for dogs like that. Never. Then he gets put to sleep, and now every dog commercial I'm crying, and I'm like, oh my God, I want another dog. And so it has affected, having a special needs child has affected my every move that I make, my every thought, my every feeling. You know, when I see a mom in Target or whatever, and she's got two little toddlers, and they're freaking out, and all they want is stuff, and one's crying, and one's, even if they don't have special needs, I totally look at her like, girl, I feel you. And let them fall out, let them cry, and ain't no judgment over here, because I know what it's like to have a child that has tantrums, and I know what it's like to have a child who is pissed off, you know, and there's nothing you can do but go about your day. You know what I mean? So I totally feel so much more for not just our community as special needs parents, and, you know, but for everyone, you know, even the elderly. Now it's just like, oh God, you know, I feel bad for seeing an old man and no one's helping him. And maybe before I would have looked at him like, oh, you know, he'll be all right. But now it's like a totally different lifestyle for me. And so I wanted to be able to share with you just things, you know, thoughts. I'm going to start a video diary, you know, especially when I have new information, or I'm having a crappy day and I just feel like posting it, and someone can say, girl, it's going to be all right, you know, because ultimately we have to stick together. You know, it's like a secret society, you know, like no matter how much you try to explain or get even your family, for me, it's family right now, because I know that they want to try to get it, but they just don't, you know. And look at me, I'm tired all the time. Like if I get 5 hours of sleep, it's like, yes, you know, it's the greatest thing, you know, but they just don't understand. So I think that I just wanted a place, not really a big place, because sometimes when you have these groups and stuff on Facebook, you tend to, if it's too big of a community, you get all this feedback and then you start getting overwhelmed. So I thought it would be I would keep it a little bit more safe and private to local people and people that I've already been friends with, you know, but I'm not trying to have this huge group of people, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to be one of those people that, oh, like and share my video. I don't want to do that. I just wanted a place to go and a place for everyone else to come. If you have any questions for me, I mean, I feel like I'm still kind of new to the game, because Aiden's only 6, but it feels like he's like 15, you know? It feels like in these 6 years, I have done and been through and witnessed so much with him. Then my daughter, who's going to be 16, I mean, she was a breeze. She still is a breeze. I mean, she's a little teenagery right now, but she's still a breeze. With Aiden, it feels like time stopped. And it feels like I've had him forever. And it's only been 6 years, but we've been through every aspect of this, you know, therapists and different doctors and different specialists and geneticists, audiologists, 3 different neurologists, physiatrist, dentist. Oh, that's a horrible one. Dentist is just bad blood for us. So I just wanted to be able to share my story and yeah, just to really share the fact that I'm one person, but I have these 2 completely different worlds, and they do come together, but I have one world where everything is typical. I'm raising a teenager, I'm getting her ready for her sweet 16, and we're talking about college and, dating and driving. And then I have this other world, not to mention, in that other world, it's just us. It's the 3 of us. It's just what it is right now. I'm a single mom. And then I have this other world where everything is unique and everything is different. And I have to think a different way. I have to feel a different way at times. I have to give more to this world sometimes than to that world. Not to mention, I'm going to put myself in that different bracket because, I'm type 1 diabetic. Yeah, go figure. Like, that's what else do I need? That happened 3 years ago. I started feeling like crap, went to the hospital. My sugar was like 500. Never knew that I had diabetes, never even took any medication for it. They, swore that I was just neglecting my body. And I was like, look, I've never had any symptoms or anything. I don't even know anything about diabetes. So, now I'm dealing with that. And it's not something that I can just change my diet and exercise. I'm type 1, which means that this was supposed to happen, or me, it was supposed to flourish when I was younger, and it didn't. It decided to come when I'm in my 30s. I still don't get that, but nothing in my life is normal. Nothing. I don't have a normal life, and I probably will never have a normal life. I'm okay with that. Anyway, so I put myself in that special category because not only am I, advocating for my son and taking care of him and doing a lot of things, I have to take care of myself. I mean, checking my sugar a million times a day, eating properly, making sure I take my insulin and giving myself enough insulin. And it's just a lot. It really is. So I'm juggling these 2 worlds, and I'm directly in the middle. And it's like, I have to make sure that I'm giving and nourishing both, So I just wanted to share that with you. I know this is a really long video, but I really hope that you're open to, having some, conversation, and maybe, who knows, we all talked about, I know some of us mothers talked about doing a mom's night or something like that, which we really should look into, girls and dads. We really should look into that. But I hope that this video is encouraging, and I hope that you guys know that you are not alone. I know that I'm not alone, but I want y'all to know that y'all are not alone either, and no, it's not always going to be our family that we have to go to, because they just, some don't get it, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's just, it's nice to have a place like this to vent and to inquire and to just get some support. Ultimately, it's about support because we need it. In order for us to be good for our kids, special needs or not, we need support, and we need to feel like we've been supported. So I hope that I was pretty informative. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. But thank you guys for listening or watching, and I look forward to chatting with you guys soon. Bye. Have a good day.